going on, guys? Welcome back. Another trade recap. We banked around $1,200, $1,300 today in a mere 3.5 minutes. Fucking beautiful. You just love to see it. You love to see some shit like that. Top Step's getting fucking rinsed this week because they just said fuck you to everybody else, right? And so now only Top Step is able to use the Project X platform, which, I mean, Top Step created it, so like very fair that they're able to do that, but they're trying to wipe the competition. But we're gonna rinse Top Step this week just because they did some bullshit like that. So we're gonna go over the trade we took today, all the confluences, my narrative, everything. You know the drill, right? If you guys have been here long enough, you know the drill. We're going over the trade. We're gonna look and see what we took today, how we banked $1,226.40. And then, we'll just go over it real quick. So, coming on the charts, right? Last week we had this SMT with ES right here, this very fat SMT, and we ended up shooting up off of that. So this SMT is technically still holding, right? Because it's super high time frame, so we should be continuing back up. So that's what I was thinking for today, right? And then at the same time, right, we also, as you can see, tapped into this 4-hour fair value gap. This 4-hour fair value gap, and it was also in equilibrium of this last 4-hour leg, right? So if we were going to continue to sell back up, we hit equilibrium and we can continue to push back to the upside, and that's what your boy was thinking, right? Heading back to smaller time frames, right here, as you can see, there's this tiny 5-minute, right? And with the strategy we use, we use higher time frame fair value gaps paired with lower time frame fair value gaps. Usually we want to see structure built first. However, in a situation like this where we kind of had a good idea of what price was going to do off morning, off market open, right? We can use fair value gaps inside of fair value gaps. So we had this 5-minute inside of this hourly and 4-hour, right, that we ended up coming down to reach. And as you can see, that's kind of what we wanted there before continuing back up. And then lastly in the strategy, right, we want to see an inversion back to the upside. And we had this 3-minute right here. Now, I would not say this is an A+ setup, right, because we are in a downtrend and we caught a reversal. We were thinking that a reversal was going to happen, right? However, we didn't necessarily know if that was going to happen or not, you know what I'm saying? But we had crazy displacement on this candle, very strong inversion, right? So that's the other confirmation that I need. Ton of low resistance liquidity on this side right here. As you can see, we kind of just targeted, just the we went a little for a little more today, a little 3.5R. Usually we don't do something like that, but we had just extreme confirmation that we were going to continue back to the upside. Super, as you can see, we swept out this high right here, this prominent high, and then fell off. But extreme confirmation, extreme confluence that we're going to continue back up. We entered off this, set our stops below these 1-minute lows right here. Actually, what I did is kind of waited for somewhat of a retrace just because that 3-minute candle was so large, as you can see. So I waited for somewhat of a retrace. We got a retrace here, not as much as I wanted. However, that gave me a better entry because I was able to put my stops below there. Because if we're going to continue back to the upside, right, then I can theoretically have my stops below here, get a tighter stop, and then we can target more. So that's what was able to make me so much bread, because I waited for this 1-minute low, right, and then entered off this candle displacing back to the upside and got our stops below here, just targeted some highs up here, and yeah, I mean, freaking banked today. Printed money. We're rinsing Top Step, bro. Straight up. But yeah, super simple trade I took today. Once again, it's always easy, always simple to explain these trade recaps. Like, it doesn't take very long, 5 minutes at most, right? Because they are extremely simple, right? We're not seeing too much going on, and we're entering off of a couple confluence, right? We had that SMT from a couple days ago, 4-hour gap, technically 1-hour gap, but I count those as one, right? So higher time frame gap, then lower time frame gap, and then inversion, and then that's literally it, right? That's all we were looking for, and as you can see, worked out today. So that is the trade we took today. Once again, if we take a trade tomorrow, I'll see you guys tomorrow. If we don't take a trade tomorrow, you're not going to see me tomorrow. But yeah, government's back open, baby, officially. We're going to start printing some money, hitting some crazy plays, right? I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see this week, right? The rest of this week we have FOMC on Wednesday, which we're full porting, and then some other various red folder news. Not any that like will matter a ton, but we'll just have to watch out for those. But should have a pretty good trading week this week. As long as price action is good, we should be continue to rolling. Ooh, continue rolling. Continue to roll, keep rolling. You know what I'm saying? All right, boys. I'm going to leave it there. We'll catch you guys next time, probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully we take a trade, but obviously, whatever. All right, I'll catch you boys next time. Peace out. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that.